I want to welcome everybody to Purim week at TAM. Everybody got the memo about the hats? Memo about the hats and the groggers? Hats and groggers. I had passed out 20 hats. Where are the hats and groggers? Okay. Some of you got the memo that this is Purim week at TAM. I want to thank you all for joining in the fun and having a little Purim fun. The rest of you, welcome you to TAM's celebration of Trudy's retirement bash. So we hope to have some fun tonight. There's food on the side. You can have some food while we're in the middle of the program. Have some drinks. So we hope you enjoy it. We have some special guests to announce. We have Liba and her spouse, her husband, who live in Muncie. Liba's here. And we have David Ferguson. Where's David Ferguson, his spouse? Come on down. Come on down. Where are you? I can't even see you. Okay. There are some thank yous that we want to make. Normally, people wait until the end of the event to say thank yous. I say, what the heck? Let's thank people up front so they get announced and appreciated before people leave. So we have a list of thank yous. If I can find the thank you list. Each one of these people did something small, something large, or both. This event would not have been pulled off tonight if we didn't have these people. So please thank them. Wait till I say everybody, and then you can thank all of them. Linda Chernin, Chai Esther Miller, Josefa Freilich, Sahava Meister, Robin Borsick, as in Robbie Borsick. Who wrote this? Where's Beth? Okay. Julie Levin, Leah Viva Bruck, Shoshana Meister, Rabbi Yosef Schlessel, the TAM students. Those are all the volunteers. Say thank you to all the volunteers. We're not done yet. We have some vendors. Connie Eisenbach doing photography, show and press doing printing, and Sarah Perlman, known as Cookies and Kisses, who did all the food. So thank our vendors, please. Then we have our staff, Mrs. Sora Rausch, Mrs. Beth Meister, Miss Yocheved Kramer, Miss Malky Brofman, and Miss Miriam Saltzman. Please thank our staff. I wanted to let everybody know that there's a memory book that we're giving Trudy at the end. There are postcards on the table. You might have used them when you came in. And if you didn't, please write your memories and thanks to Trudy on the way out and be part of the memory book. There's also a plaque. I think Beth would call this a plaque. The administrator's office, dedicated in honor of Ms. Trudy Farber for years of devotion and service as TAM administrator with today's date, English and Hebrew, which is going inside the office. So that's also part of tonight's event. Just a short Torah thought. I saw a Devar Torah from, who is it from? Excuse me. I had it here. Okay. Where is it? It's from Rabbi Moshe Komornik, who I understand is the Rosh Kollel of the Kollel of Greater Miami. He took this from Parshas Mishpatim, which we read several weeks ago, and the part that I read about it I thought was very appropriate for tonight's event, and so I wanted to share it with people. 1 second. How many pages? As they say, this should be the worst thing that happens. Right now, it is the worst thing. Here it is. Okay. Whew. Hot in here, isn't it? It's hot. Is this hot? You know, take my glasses off. Okay. All right, so he takes this from Mishpatim, and the pasuk he uses says, "When you lend money to my people, to the poor person who is with you, do not act toward him as a creditor, do not lay interest upon him." And he focuses on the first part, when you lend money to my people, to the poor person who is with you. So the pasuk begins with the word in, which is usually if, but the Chumash translates it as when. So the question everybody asks is, why is it if? when it really means when, and the Parsha says when. Why doesn't he just say what he means to say and say when instead of saying if? So the Or Chaim, and there's a Medrash, and I think Rashi also brings down that he says when, because it's meant to be that giving is not voluntary. We give because we have the resources to give, and we're supposed to give. It's not if we give, it's when you're supposed to give. And that's what we're supposed to learn from this. We're instructed how to use the money, and so the verse should be read as follows. So listen carefully how he teaches the pasuk. If you, in parentheses, are in a financially successful position to, and he goes back, lend money to my people, in parentheses, the money of the poor person is with you. So if we're financially able to give, it's because Hashem has given us money to give tzedakah and other support to people beyond what our normal needs are. And that money is given to us for us to hold for the person we're supposed to give it to. The person we're supposed to give it to is a poor person. So what it's saying is we're not reacting to our own hard-earned money. We're giving away money that we're holding for another person on his behalf. That's the attitude that we're supposed to have. And this is not only money, this is also for attributes we have, your wisdom, your talents, your energies. If Hashem gives it to us, it's because we're holding it to be able to give it to people who are in need, and that's what we should be doing. As for Trudy, I can't talk about her financial resources, but I think everybody would agree that she has the other attributes that this pasuk is talking about. I came up with a list of just a few. Compassion, kindness, caring, empathy, and sincerity. We all know that Trudy has those, that Hashem has given Trudy those to hold on to be able to give over to the students at TAM. And that's what she's done the 23 or so years that she's been here. Every hour, every day, here in the morning, here at night, here on weekends, here sometimes on Shabbos for a project. But she has all those attributes that she gives over to the students. And although we've loved her for 23 years, and now we have Beth Meister, who's our new administrator, these are the reasons why we're going to miss Trudy, not being able to give this over to the students. So that's our thought for her. Okay. Moving on. Our next speaker, our first real speaker, is Rabbi Cian Tursky. Rabbi Cian, we all know and love, who made it back for tonight's event, has one TAM student who's an alum and one TAM student is here. Mrs. Rausch tells me that he's been teaching Hashkafa and Halacha classes for more than 20 years. Now he's missed a week here and there, he's missed maybe a month here and there, so we have to look at it in the aggregate. Over the aggregate, it's 20 years. So we've asked Cian to speak.
No? Where is Mrs. Rausch?
That's not what I told him.
How many years has the school been in existence? Right, no, they weren't the first class. Chaya was the first class. How many years ago?
A long time ago. I will not disclose how old I am.
Anyhow, I have a insomnia causes for some rather constructive things. So I have been reading biographies of Gedolim before I go to sleep, and I have finished many, many great biographies, both in Hebrew and in English, and at times that I really can't sleep, I open the Yiddish ones, because you have to work so hard on deciphering the words that you fall asleep quicker. And among these biographies, there are many different types of people who I've read about, and recently I've read 2 biographies of Gedolim that are worthwhile read, but really have very little as far as instructive material. The biography about the Ribnitzer, which is fascinating, and I'm now finishing the biography of the Rogatchover Goyen. Both of those happen to be in English. They're fascinating reads and have absolutely no impact on my life. They were both superhumans. The Ribnitzer, I think, was born as a tzaddik and just lived in a different realm. The Rogatchover was an absolute genius, remembered everything he saw and then some. So it's just not relevant. And then there are biographies that you read that are very, very relevant. You can learn things from them. They're instructive in life. And as I was thinking about what we were going to say about Trudy tonight, I realized that the girls at TAM had a biography that they were able to see day in and day out. And it's a biography that's very instructive. She had, Baruch Hashem, has superhuman koiches, so that part of it, not everyone is blessed with that particular gift. But our daughters were able to watch someone who went through real life challenges, who's going through real life challenges, and nonetheless kept on forging forward with a smile, with dedication. She didn't use the challenges of life as excuses of being nasty, being sour. She came in with a smile. The girls always felt that there was a listening ear. And I believe that we had a bracha for our kids to be able to see you have to say this, so those of you who know Hebrew can correct me, but it's not a Gadol b'Yisrael, but probably a Gedolah b'Yisrael. And to learn from it, a real life example of someone who is dedicated to the right things, doesn't let the obstacles of life get in her way. So we are incredibly appreciative, not just for the fact that she ran the school and so many of those other things, but perhaps most importantly, that Trudy was there, and I believe will continue to be there, not only for her children, but for our children, to inspire, to guide, and in Mitzvah Hashem, she should be zeicha to continue to do so for 120 years.
Bernie Cohn. Every story begins with a beginning. TAM began 1991, and Bernie was the first president for over the first decade of the school. That's a great beginning. That's a great person to have at a beginning. That's a great person with a lot of stories. So we've asked Bernie to speak on behalf for Trudy and tell us some of the many good things that he'd want to say about Trudy. Bernie?
So one of the problems that I'm dealing with is that I'm rapidly losing my hearing. So I would like to respectfully request that you applaud loud and vigorously so that I can see that you're... Oh! Okay. I can't even hear myself. In this day and age of political correctness, I beg your indulgence if I happen to say I instead of we, or use the wrong pronoun in some way or another. Rest assured that in almost everything I'm going to say, I do mean not just myself, but myself and Robin. So what can I say about a person with whom Robin and I have known for very close to 50 years? We first met Trudy in 1975 when we moved to Atlanta for a position that I had at Emory University. And nearly 50 years have gone by, and we've kept in close contact regardless of where we were or where she was when she was in Baltimore and we were here or we were there. It's been a great long-term relationship. Trudy is an amazing woman. She's done and accomplished so many things in her life, and I am so incredibly appreciative for everything that she has done at TAM, for TAM, with TAM. There was a time when one of her kids was going to school here in Milwaukee, and he was staying by us. And Trudy would be in touch nearly every day. She had this incredible dedication. I was totally amazed at her cool and calm demeanor, no matter what was going on. she was truly a queen of hearts. There's a lot of private jokes in this. Her efforts and achievements have certainly been that of shooting for the moon. The times we've spent together have always been the most wonderful and memorable and relaxing that I can remember. Trudy was very much like a sister to me, never being afraid to admonish me for something that I was doing wrong, and occasionally crediting me for something that I was doing right. Not that she wasn't crediting me appropriately, but there were just so few occasions that she always dealt me a hand that was worth playing. And I don't think that she ever dumped on me or anything of the sort. She never tried to break my heart. And in all honesty, there was never a void in my life because of something that Trudy did. She never tried to play a trick on me. How am I doing, Trudy? And she never tried to lead me into something. Trudy, in all honesty, I can't express my hakoras hatov for everything you do and your friendship over these years. You and your family are absolutely and totally amazing. Trudy is our Queen of Hearts, but more precisely, a real and true woman of valor for the entire Milwaukee community. We've been greatly blessed by her presence, and we'll miss her as she moves on.
We have one more speaker who was a guest speaker who was able to come and speak today. David Ferguson, on behalf of the family, please say a few words.
I'm not a public speaker. I apologize for that. But, there's a mitzvah in the Torah of mitzvahs levoya, that when someone has a guest, they're obligated to escort them 4 amas. Now, the question is really, walking someone out the door, even with the chazon ish here of 8 feet, is really not gonna, what are we giving them? What's the message that we're giving over to them when we walk them 8 feet out the door? And I was trying to remember the emails that I got. I don't remember if I saw one of them said we're celebrating, bidding farewell. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but there was a lashon of a celebration. There's a little bit of a party tonight, as we're bidding farewell from my mother's 23 years of work at TAM. And are we celebrating that she's leaving? Chas v'sholom. It's not. As far as I know, is the Maral and the Marsha explain, the Maral and Marsha and Masechta Soita explain this concept of levoya, is that when someone escorts them out, there's it gives them it gives them courage, and that they're not alone in the world. Like there could be ramifications later of Egla Arufa, that the Zakenim would come, that they said that we didn't spill this blood. Now, no one never thought that there was, but if they would have escorted them, it would have given him the courage and the support to be able to fend for himself. So I see so many people came here tonight to take part in my mother's in bidding farewell for my mother's work at TAM. It's not a celebration; it's the courage of weiter, and it's in essence a chelik of levoya, of being mekayim this mitzvah of escorting, because as we know, she put in a lot of work into TAM. I was trying to remember a little bit. It's hard not to remember because when you have I remember someone one time asked me when I was younger, what does your mother do? I said she's the administrator of TAM, but then I was thinking, does the administrator host board meetings at home? Or I remember once, and there was a snowstorm, And she turned off my alarm, and I said, I woke up late. I said, Ma, how do you know there's no school today? She said, well, it's 6 o'clock. I was on the phone with Mrs. Rausch, and we canceled school. Yes and TAM's canceled together. So I didn't know that was part of the administrator's job. I thought that she was the bookkeeper. V'chahin rabbis. There was, they said that really, she was TAM. Like, as she just said in the video that. She still refers to I and we in TAM. I don't think that that's a part that she will ever be able to separate with for the rest of her life. And on behalf of the family, I would like to thank everybody for coming out tonight and showing their support and their acknowledgement. It's really a way of everybody showing their thank you for all the hard work that she put in to put up this building, every banquet. After she took over the Chinese auctions, this is really what I was listening to while I was on the phone, thousands of miles away in Eretz Yisrael. But I was always updated on every single last step of what's going on in TAM, and whenever something new was happening, because that's all she thought about, really. And in Ben Azmanim, even though she told me once that one of the greatest perks of her contract is that when school is off, she's also off. I'm still yet to find those days that she didn't work. The Eibush soll Taka helfen, that she should be solche to move on and have nachas von all of her children and eigentlich Gesundheit.
Trudy, we need you here. Please come up. Mrs. Rausch, Beth, we have a presentation to make to Trudy a gift beyond everything else tonight. Mrs. Rausch, I'll hold it. You're going to present it?
Should I put Trudy in the middle of this?
I'll take this.
Sure. Oh. Okay. I don't have to attach it to it. I'll just hold it. How's that? For over 2 decades, I had a very special schus, and that's to work alongside Trudy Farber. I got to witness her unwavering dedication, her leadership, her expertise. Ms. Farber, your guidance, your friendship, your support, and your knowledge of absolutely every topic under the sun. It doesn't make a difference whether it's finances, healthcare, science, Yiddishkeit. Everything meant so much to me and to all of us here at TAM, the staff, the students, the board members, the parents, everyone. We miss having you at school daily, but we are bothering you daily also with phone calls, so that's okay. We apologize for constantly bothering you. What we are presenting here is a Waterdale painting of one of Trudy's favorite sites, the Kosel. And we're very excited that her son is here because maybe he'll put it up before he leaves. Oh, Trudy, grab a corner of it.
Along with the painting, we are presenting a plaque that says presented to Trudy Farber in appreciation of her unwavering dedication to TAM for over 2 decades with today's date. We hope you will display it proudly. We also have the first draft of our memory book. It is a work in progress, but a lot of progress has been made. Please write more messages and help us out, and there will be more coming.
At least I get to give one a hug.
I have to tell you, I think I should throw my speech out because everything has already been said and I'm very overwhelmed and I don't know if I can get through it. I have a cousin who's a judge in Nassau County, and I asked her how, I don't know how to do this. She said, okay, so you pinch your hand right here and then you won't cry. So we'll see if that works. And so that that's my disclaimer that when I chose a major in college, I wanted one where I never had to speak, and I never had to write a paper, and I never had to talk to people. So I think I failed. My major, I did not fail, but standing here, I think I am. And I know that you've already heard this from the other side, but I want to give public hakar satov to Robin and Bernie. I'm squeezing really hard for when they took in that 5th grader and schlepped him across town every day. And I think, Chaya, you were the only one home, right? And you were in graduate school? Yeah, so they had a 5th grader in graduate school, and they came through with flying colors. And I think that it's a big part of why he has kids in Jewish schools today, and he is who he is, along with everybody else. And for all you've ever been there for me and my children and my grandchildren. Everybody went there in Israel during seminary, and Javi went, and Yafa. So here, maybe I'll read a little bit, maybe that'll get better. In August of 1999, after the son that had spent the year with Bernie and Robin, my oldest daughter got married. The next one went to seminary, and the next son was already in yeshiva. So me and 3 kids packed up and moved to Milwaukee. 2 of those kids are sitting at this table right here, and I'm really glad they're here. It's not working. Wow. I told the girls they had to laugh extra, they're my laugh track. Leva moved here from Baltimore, where she'd been in Beis Yaakov of Baltimore since preschool. Her grade had 6 parallel classes. Oh, thank you, Mr. Crystal, I really appreciate that. I was really concerned about her adjustment, but my concern evaporated as she connected to her classmates and other girls in the school. Mrs. Roush would ask her, how would they do that in Baltimore? And she felt so good about it. And Bernie told her that she was responsible for making her mother happy, and she took that job on. And here she is. And recently, I just heard her, somebody said, how can you have a class of 6 kids? And she said, I had a class of 6 kids, and it was great. And she made a bar mitzvah, and 4 of those 6 were there. I began my career out of college as a medical technologist working in large hospitals. I spent 10 years working in clinical chemistry and 10 years working in blood bank at a trauma center. How did that morph into the job as a school administrator with a myriad of responsibilities, which did not include testing any blood ever? In the job description of all the hospitals, the last line was, and other related duties. And so I always say that my job at TAM was just the other related duties. The easy answer of why I was here is really because the Rebbeinu Shalom wanted me here. And I'm very glad that's what he wanted. I thought I remembered the story that somebody was doing TAM's books, and Mr. Hoffman, Al Shalom, was president, and he really didn't think she was doing a good job. And he asked me to take over it. I wasn't even sure he even asked Mrs. Roush, and then she got stuck with me for 23 years. So I don't know, that story is a little fuzzy. As I said in the video, and I worked on it a little more when I worked up this, is what it all meant to me and why it came together. And not that I'm really worthy of quoting this, but I'll try. So Shlomo Melech says in the 4th chapter of Koheles that a 3-strand cord is not easily broken. And I believe I found the 3 reasons that being TAM administrator resonated with me when I had no experience in education or administration or anything except testing blood. My parents always communicated a strong belief in the importance of education to my brother and myself. My mother often said education was the one thing in life no one could take away from you. The thirst for knowledge and understanding the world around us was ingrained in us from a very early age. That was number one. Number two, I will not try to hide that I came of age with the women's rights movement, and my take from there was that women's education was significant and of value. My freshman class in college was filled with women with ambitious educational and career goals. We were not the pioneers. We were the next generation who were not going to be told a woman can't do this. And the final thread, the most important one that bound me to my work at TAM, was my dedication to Yiddishkeit and Torah. Hashem graciously allowed me to work in a setting infused with girls. Davening, learning, and living Torah was truly a bracha. So now I know what my three strands were that tied me to TAM. I heard my parents in my ear. I cared about education of generations of women, and I believed they should receive the best Torah education possible. It's my hope in some way I fulfilled my mission by working towards that goal at TAM. Working with Nathaniel Hoffman and Jim Hiller as they alternated being presidents of TAM was often a challenge, but always an honor. Even with their very different styles, I learned a great deal from each of them, and I truly appreciate their time and patience and faith they showed in me and my abilities. This one's going to be hard. Okay, it's really going to be hard. Even after Nathaniel died, I often asked myself, what would he do in this situation? And most of the time, within seconds, I knew what he would do, and it was the right solution. I have watched and been impressed with TAM and the education, the staff, and their dedication to each of our daughters over the years. I applaud their challenging job to motivate and educate teenage girls. The students are repeatedly saying, why do we need to know this? Will I ever use this? It can be discouraging, but each teacher in their own way takes on this challenge. I always have a good feeling when I recall the nervous young ninth grader that entered TAM compared to the educated, confident young woman that graduates 4 years later. It is so special to have Elaine Gehring and Francie Shea here tonight. They were so fun to work with. I still value their friendship so much. And I'm at a total loss as how to show my appreciation and gratitude to Sarah Roush for all the support she's shown me. I was treated as a partner in our work for TAM. We ran all major decisions past each other. She always had time for me and my personal challenges. And these words have only scratched the surface of how important I consider our relationship and the Hakaras Hatov I owe her. As I pass on this quote-unquote job to Beth Meister, I could not feel better about who will continue my work and take TAM to the next stage. She brings a level head, great skill set, and a love of the girls with her. I know the theme tonight was for you, the TAM family, to thank me for my years of service to our school, but it's really me that thanks you for allowing me to be here.
Thank you, Trudy. Closing, as they say. Food is over here. Help yourself. You have 10 men. Need to daven Marv. Be over there after the food is finished. On a personal note, I was thinking, driving over here, that aside from our annual graduation ceremonies, and aside from the great fundraisers that we have, the auction, cause match, and so on, and aside from the sad gathering that we had for Nathaniel Hoffman Alva Shalom, this is the first time that I can remember that we got together as a group for ourselves, with ourselves, as a Simchatic event. So I hope that we find the opportunity and the time and the way to do this more often and soon and many times. Thank you. Food, davening.